I don't usually start these things with a question, but I am going to. Sam, what connects the Singapore Grand Prix, the Qatar Grand Prix, and the Las Vegas Grand Prix? Any guesses?
They're all night races.
Can't argue with that. It's not the answer I was looking
Surely
for.
not. Surely that's where the answer was going to be.
How did I not get that right? Quizzes
The
go
actual
against
answer
me.
I was looking for, they're the only 3 circuits on the current calendar that Max Verstappen hasn't won at yet.
Oh.
Now, you can probably forgive him for not winning at Las Vegas, given we haven't been there yet. And he's only had 1 attempt at Qatar, but the Singapore Grand Prix, to this point, hasn't been able to get a win there. And we know his teammate Sergio Perez took the victory there last season. Sam, will Singapore be his undoing again this year? Is there any chance that happens?
I mean, in his current form, in this current guise that we see Max Verstappen, which is essentially king of the world of all things that have an engine, the guy seems to be able to conquer any problem that rides his way. But out of all the circuits that could throw an absolute blunder, a spanner into the works, Singapore's got to be up there for tracks that you go, oh, if it's going to come undone anywhere, Singapore is likely. A little bit of rain, bit of humidity, the car's overheating, the tyre's not switching on for you, the fact that the rain, when it does rain, it never dries. The track's probably still wet from last year.
Yeah.
You know, the humidity levels there are 99% at all times. So I imagine that realistically, they are still having to mop up the water. The run can only go for so long. Surely every single race that he wins, the percentage chance of him winning the one afterwards must shrink a little bit, because all runs come to an end and it gets harder and harder and harder to keep compiling a record like this. And I think if you were giving me another Monza, I go, cool, I've got 11 corners to break for. But I'm at Singapore and there's 24 corners here, something like that?
Bloody hell, Jeremy.
It's 24, Jeremy. That's insane. And it is insane. And they've even got rid of some this year.
Yeah, I think it's
They
19
have.
now.
We'll get onto that in a bit.
Wait,
But yeah, they have.
19.
I think that's what I read earlier.
Very interesting. Didn't know that. So yeah,
Is it?
I think in his current performance, with the way the car is, his ability, of course, I think he is definitely still the favourite. But whilst also being the favourite, I do think that maybe out of all of the races we have yet to come, this is the one with the highest percentage chance of absolutely causing him to throw a proper wobbly and have a meltdown. You saw what happened last year, right? It was a chaotic Grand Prix. We had cars going left, right and centre. There was one line you could drive through. Sergio Perez was a beast. He needs that again this year. And Max Verstappen did not win.
Sergio Perez was a beast when there was only one line you could drive on and no one can overtake you.
That is the truest thing you've ever said.
No, I don't mean that, obviously.
But basically, Singapore, yes, can cause him problems.
What are your thoughts, Harry? Do you think similarly that it could be something that causes him problems?
Yeah, there are a lot of variables when it comes to Singapore. And look, not that I've looked, but I haven't heard anything about rain forecasts this weekend.
We can't have more rain.
in
It's not
Honestly,
possible.
we've had so many wet races and sessions. But obviously last year we did have that, and it caused a bit of carnage. But on its own, I think Singapore can cause carnage, but also it's a bit of a car breaker. It goes on for 3.5 days every year, and it surprises us every time.
It's going to run on to Wednesday.
It's so long, and it's tough on the drivers as well. So there's a lot of adverse conditions, I guess, that could go against Max Verstappen here. And you'd have to go on the balance of probability that if it's going to end anywhere, this run, as you say, Sam, then it could be here in Singapore. Having said that, everything seems to... Look at the Dutch GP. Everything happened in that race, and he still won.
Number one.
He still won that one. So it can be as chaotic as you like, and he still pulls through. So I wouldn't bet against him winning again, but you'd have to go on the odds of of him not winning. Then this could be fairly high.
At what point for bold predictions to come back around that saying he will win is now a bold prediction? Because surely something must go wrong.
Nope, good try.
Damn it.
Gave it a go.
I appreciate the effort on that.
Rumbled.
Early doors.
Yeah.
Never a chance. I mean, bringing up the Dutch Grand Prix is an interesting one because you're right. There was certainly an air of inevitability about that race, as in he was double digits seconds down on his teammate, and still you were sat there going, yeah, how long is this going to take him then? Which is kind of the point that we've reached. But if you're looking back to last year, obviously you already referenced that he didn't win the Singapore Grand Prix last year, and a lot is made of his current run. So he's obviously broken the record of most consecutive race victories, and it deserves all the adulation that it's getting. Bear in mind that if he had won Singapore last year, he would have actually had 9 race victories in a row in 2022. He actually had 5 race wins leading up to Singapore, and then he had the 3 after Singapore was done as well. So
I can't believe it.
Stagman!
We're just living in Max Verstappen's world.
He has been on top forever.
Well, we are now at the point where this is the penultimate race that Verstappen. The penultimate race that Red Bull haven't won. Like it's ridiculous, right? Going back to this point, let's assume Verstappen does win Singapore. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But he's won quite a few recently. We're getting to the point where the only you've got Russell who won at Brazil last year. Perez, who picked up a couple of wins earlier this year. Other than that, Verstappen has the most recent win at pretty much everywhere else. So it is highly impressive. Singapore is a unique challenge that you've already mentioned. So if you think back to, it doesn't always follow the form book. If you think back to 2019, that was, if you remember, Sebastian Vettel's final victory in F1, if I'm not forgetting one that came after that.
He loved it there.
He's got the most wins. Be correct, Ben. He hasn't won one since.
And that was his only race win for Ferrari that season as well. So again, it kind of went against the form book. Similarly, of course, Perez won last year, and it was one of only 2 race victories he had last year. So it can pull up a bit of a surprise result. I seem to recall last year, before the rain interrupted most of the weekend, Mercedes looked pretty quick early on the Friday of practice sessions last year. Obviously, we never really got to see it materialize. And Max Verstappen certainly struggled. He qualified 8th place, had a poor first lap. I think he went back to about 12th or so. But he just seemed to spend a lot of time behind car. He couldn't get the overtakes done. Now, maybe the changes in the track will help with this. Maybe the conditions will be different this year and it will be easier for him to get overtakes done if he was in the same spot. But I think he only recovered to P7. So he only made up 1 position on where he qualified, which was well down on where he usually is. So overtaking is tricky at Singapore. And you're right, there are multiple factors that you have to consider here that you probably don't have to consider at other Grand Prix.
Just like George Russell's sweat will probably play a major part this weekend.
It's going to be. He's going to think it's raining all over the show.
Everyone will think it's raining
because of his sweat
out of his helmet, like a weird got propeller. I don't know where I'm going with it.
That's right. We'll find the word.
We've got the point.
Well, sweat interrupted him last year, didn't it? That was the result of his crash with Schumacher. That was because of sweat.
Yeah.
That'll be it.
Didn't see him.
Oh, I'm blind. Crashed again.
Classic.
I saw some highlights of last year the other day. Apart from Perez, everyone was pretty terrible that day.
Everyone was bad.
Everyone was terrible.
Apart from Mick Schumacher, who got driven into by George Russell.
That wasn't his fault, yeah. So Mick Schumacher and Perez.
The goats of F1. There it is.
Everyone either crashed or broke down.
Yeah.
There was
2
really
people finished.
not much else.
George Russell and Perez. Mick Schumacher's still shaking his fist at him.
Who might challenge Red Bull, if anyone, Sam? Who might step up to the plate?
Mick Schumacher's coming. Now, I think, weirdly, I'm going to call out 2 teams, which I think maybe the 2 of you are expecting, but some of you who are, not technically minded. And this podcast
like yourself.
is famed for its technical analysis.
Right, Adrian Newey, go on.
Yeah, Adrian Newey, new king on the block. So I'm gonna give a shout out to both Aston Martin and McLaren. Actually, Aston Martin, because if you look at the form book throughout the season, the tracks where they have excelled the most, you got to go back to Hungary, the Dutch Grand Prix, and Monaco, and they are by far the closest 3 Grand Prix that have a link to the track like Singapore. So it feels very logical that Fernando Alonso is going to be up there at the top. I've made it clear from the start that I only think one of them is going to be challenging. I can't imagine Lance Stroll is going to be particularly fighting for victories.
Why?
Check the record books, mate. Speak for themselves.
I'm aware the last podcast episode was a largely Lance Stroll negative episode, so maybe we'll stop there. But
yeah. So yeah, I think asking on that, and if you also check the form book, Maka have been pretty good around tracks that tend to be more downforce heavy. The biggest call out for that is, weirdly though, Spa Sector 2, where it is officially known as the Piastri sector, because
They had all the downforce.
when you are 4 seconds faster in one sector, I just think you clearly have some immense ability to go around corners. And again, pretty good around tracks that and in wet weather that requires serious downforce. So I think they could challenge here, and I do think that, a little spoiler, that a certain someone might come a bit of a cropper.
now that is a spoiler. What are your thoughts, Harry? Who might be set to challenge, if anyone?
I feel like I'm not going to spoil whatever you're going to say, but I feel like we're going to keep doing this prediction until it happens.
I will not stop. I will not rest.
Yeah, I agree with Sam. Aston Martin, you've got to think they fancy their chances this weekend. McLaren are a weird one, because you're right, they did well in Hungary, but they also did well at Silverstone, which is quite a high speed track. I know you need downforce there, but
They're all right in Monza.
they were okay in Monza, yeah. But yeah, you'd expect them to be up there. Mercedes have got to fancy their chances. I fancy their chances too, because as you say, they were pretty good last year before the rain happened. I'd mention a team beginning with F in this, but Lord only knows what sort of car they'll turn up with
They
this
will
weekend.
be 18th and 19th, and they will split the Haas drivers.
Fittipaldi's back on the grid.
Yeah, that's the Fittipaldi Racing.
Pietro.
Going by the form book, as you have already mentioned, they should be Ferrari. Should be absolutely terrible.
They should be.
But who knows? Because they've turned up some weekends and been way better than we thought. It's clear they're good in a straight line, but I just don't think they're going to be in this mix. So I'm going to rule them out, but they'll probably win it now. But yeah, I think for me, it's going to be Aston, McLaren, Mercedes are going to be best of the rest, or indeed maybe challenging.
Yeah, you're probably right on Ferrari. I feel like Leclerc will either get pole position or he'll qualify 14th. And I don't think it'll be anything in between that. First or 14th. That feels like a very Ferrari.
Make it your bold prediction, you coward.
Unless it's damp and then he's last, because he can't do damp.
So true. Damp is a terrible plan for him. He's the ocean or the desert.
Yeah, pretty much. I won't add too much to what you've already said, because I agree with your points, specifically on Aston Martin, because Fernando Alonso, P2 at Zandvoort, P2 at Monaco, that should carry through somewhat for Singapore. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But yeah, I agree with you on that. We've already referenced the track changes. So I think it's turn 17 and turn 18 of the old configuration. That has been removed. So it's now just essentially a straight that runs in parallel to the first straight that we get on the circuit, sort of between turn 5 and turn 7, I think. So, could maybe see some overtaking towards the end of the lap. What are your thoughts, Sam? Do you think that this will impact the race in any way?
I am so torn about this change in the racetrack. On one hand, it does allow, I think, a heavy braking zone into a longer straight into a heavy braking zone. And again, if you're going to talk about stereotypical places to make overtakes, especially in Formula One, that tends to do the job. Slipstream, heavy braking, you tend to have a chance of passing. And obviously this is what that is now. It's 2 relatively lengthy straights, not like Monza long, but they've got some good length to them. And 2 in a row, in theory, should mean that you can get close enough that maybe a pass into the second braking zone is possible. So, okay, we might see cars moving up, and that might be a positive. We might see some great wheel-to-wheel action. But on the other hand, I'm a bit sad, because the previous iteration of the Singapore Grand Prix had so much character, and it was so tricky and difficult, and it went under the grandstand and came up the other side through the underpass, and kind of, cut back through round. It was really difficult. And if it was raining, that tunnel section was really dry for a very short amount of time that you had to kind of balance and manage. And I really enjoyed that technical, tough part of the racetrack. The only bit that really does love it, actually, that's leaving, is the fact that next year on the F1 game, I won't have to drive. This year on the F1 game,
it's already there, mate.
I won't have to drive it because I am naff at that bit.
Well, swings and roundabouts.
Exactly, the Singapore swings.
And the Singapore roundabouts.
There you go. I make brilliant points on this
Sure.
podcast.
Yes. I have to say though, I do agree with you. So that new straight, I'm calling it a straight, but it is essentially exactly the same as what we have earlier in the lap, where there is technically a corner in the straight, but it is flat out. So it's a long run down without braking or needing to go off throttle. I think lengthwise it is almost identical to that one as well, in which case we should see some overtaking opportunities there. I also have mixed feelings about this because, as evidenced by last year, overtaking can be tricky at this circuit, and if we're getting another corner which will help out with that, then great. But also, I think Singapore is like a one-of-a-kind unique challenge, and it always has been in the sort of 15 years that it's existed. It's tough on the drivers. It's tough on brakes. It's a mental and physical endurance challenge more than anything. To your point, Harry, where you said all of the races take forever, 5 of the last 9 races at this circuit have been over 2 hours. They've hit the 2-hour mark and gone over that, which should tell you everything you need to know. We've never had a race at Singapore be quicker than an hour and 50 minutes. If you want any kind of reference point on that, Max Verstappen won the Italian Grand Prix last time out in an hour and 13 minutes. So it is a massive endurance challenge for the drivers. They always come out completely just done. The sweat, it's always, you can tell the toll that it's taken on the drivers when it's done. So I'm hoping that these changes are minimal enough that it's not going to take away from that, because I like that about the Singapore Grand Prix.
These changes are temporary, right?
They are. I think it's coming back in a couple of years.
It's coming back.
They're doing some work, aren't they?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I know it is temporary,
But they probably won't.
But is it temporary?
I don't think it's going to go back, is my prediction.
I think the drivers will go, we like not having a couple of extra corners in there. Just keep it how it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with. If anyone wants my opinion, I'm with you both. It's I like the uniqueness of that little. It's like a slow swimming pool, isn't it, or bus stop where they go right, left, right, sort of thing. And I like that, and especially going under the grandstand. We've seen many an incident over the years down there, and
you know what it is. It's a good version of the Abu Dhabi pit lane.
Yeah, it's what the Abu Dhabi pit lane should have been.
And they never, ever have a problem going through.
Honestly.
Worst thing in the world.
When is that going to be a thing?
I want a red flag in that tunnel within the next 24 hours, I was going to say. 24 months, or I riot.
Okay.
Wow. That is quick work.
That's also
someone crashed now.
A tiny, tiny reason to riot.
Me on my own.
Someone a pitchfork.
I'm so angry.
Outside Parliament.
Outside the Abu Dhabi embassy.
Yeah, so I like it for that alone. Really, it loses a bit of character, but if it does promote a few more overtakes, then fine. But it doesn't. We've said this before. It doesn't always need to have a race. Doesn't always need to have lots of overtakes to make it a good race, which we kind of saw in Monza, I guess, where the overtaking was hard. So. Yeah, it's mixed feelings. We'll see how it goes this weekend. And maybe then on Sunday we'll come back and go, that sucked.
That's a great lead into the fact that we will be here straight after the race on Sunday.
As always.
And after qualifying.
Honestly, so much content for your ears.
You lucky people. Let's
talk
do some bold predictions.
We should get on with this. Is that me first? Oh, you want the jingle?
Can you remember to do your actual job?
No. I mean, I could not be here. That would be worse.
Would it?
Oh.
That's a fair point.
There's that tension that everyone talks about.
The rivalry that we hate each
Hate him. Right, here we go.
Christ, mate.
And listen to my song about my F1 bold predictions and how they'll all be wrong.
Do you know why I wasn't ready for that? It's because I got another jingle lined up for later, which I won't spoil.
Indeed.
Ooh.
In which case, we'll let you off and let you go first. What have you got, Harry?
Go on.
My bold prediction for the Singapore GP is there's going to be no Red Bulls on the podium.
Love that.
Right, love that.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Let's do it. Come on.
Could have just said Verstappen not on the podium.
But
That'd
both
have
of
been-
them,
That'd have been fine.
sensational.
I've done that before, so I'm gonna
It might be the boldest prediction you've ever made.
I've doubled down on the not Verstappen winning one.
Well done. You've almost put like a twist on an old favourite, haven't you?
Yeah.
like-
Fan favourite.
Like adding a grate of lemon into an old fashioned, you know.
Lovely.
I can't wait for Verstappen to retire on lap 1 and Perez to get third and be like a minute off the lead.
He'll overtake third place on the final corner.
The new corner as well.
Yeah.
It'll be all because of that. What's your bold prediction, Sam?
Ferrari as a constructor will not score more than 4 points combined.
That's pretty bold. I mean,
Pretty bold.
they're probably not going to be very good, but at the same time, 4 points is not many.
It's not your level of bold, Mr. Reed, but I think it's all right.
I thought you were going to say Verstappen won't win again.
I was going to, but then you made that. And I thought, I don't want to do 2 of the same thing.
Fair enough.
I've been guilty of the last few races of going too specific on my bold prediction, so I'm just going to broaden it out a little bit here. I'm going to say that there will be a double retirement at a team that is either Ferrari, Mercedes, or Aston Martin. One of those 3 teams will have a double DNF.
30% of the credit give yourself a chance of now.
Yeah. Doing the maths.
Yeah, I'll let you have it, mate. All right.
All right. Fair
I mean,
dues.
for reference, none of them have had a double DNF this season, so I'm very confident on this.
Nice.
Poll 1, 2, 3, Harry.
Pole will be Max Verstappen. Fernando Alonso's going to win. Hamilton's going to be second. And George Russell's going to be third.
I like that.
Cool, love that. Sam.
Pole Verstappen. Win Verstappen. Second Piastri. Third Alonso.
Cool.
Piastri. You willing him to get that
I
podium.
love that man. Tiny Australian calm boy.
Oh my good lord, I wonder what you were going to say then.
He's delightful.
Crikey.
He's the opposite of me. I think we're yin and yang.
Oh my god.
I cannot wait for Piastri to get a podium and Sam not to get a point for it.
Yeah.
He's going to be third.
And then I'll hate him.
Yeah. Verstappen pole, Verstappen win, Perez second, Alonso third. Really exciting.
Ben.
Sorry.
Okay.
Harry, who's under pressure?
This is going to sound weird. Max Verstappen. I know the man doesn't feel pressure, but there's pressure now. He's gone on this winning streak. Mm-hmm. Good for him. Blah blah blah.
Oh, you've got a winning streak. Oh,
You're quite good at the F1. A bit of pressure now to keep it up, I reckon, because when it does, the thing is now it's hyped up. So he won't care. Obviously, he doesn't care about our opinion or my opinion. But it's gone on for so long. It's hyped up so much. You know, all the pundits talking about this record-breaking streak, which it obviously is, and it's tremendous for him. But when it doesn't happen, when it finally ends, everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god, wash Verstappen."
game over.
No, they won't say wash Verstappen. But anyway, my under pressure is Max Verstappen because he's now in uncharted territory.
No maps.
No, he's lost.
He has not got a compass.
Just writing a note to myself to do an Undertaker meme for when that streak is broken.
Whoever it is that wings.
Kirsty,
Right.
get
Yeah,
on
there we
saved.
Verstappen's 15th wing. Yuki Tsunoda comes out of the ground.
I'm going Fernando Alonso because if you remember, he won an absolutely epic race here 15 years ago. Completely clean Grand Prix.
Sorry, Felipe.
Yeah, that's a bit of banter. We're not going to talk about that today, but that's carrying on. Anyway, he's 6 points clear of Lewis Hamilton in the championship standings at the moment. And I think if you look at the next 3 Grand Prix, we've got Singapore, then we've got Japan, and then we've got Qatar. 3 races that, in theory, Alonso and Aston Martin might be quite good at. And I think he needs to build out a gap over the next 3 races in order to have enough that Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi at the end of the year might not be great for Aston Martin. If he can build up enough of a gap over the next 3 Grand Prix, he might be able to secure third. If he doesn't, though, and he's still only got like a 6-point lead going into the United States Grand Prix, I don't know. I think I put my money on Hamilton at that point. So I think he's under pressure just to extend that gap a little bit. Sam?
Funny enough, I'm going for Lewis Hamilton.
We
Because since the summer break,
We've gone through all the good ones.
we have. He's not been very good since the summer break. In qualifying especially, he's just seemed shaky. His achy, breaky, shaky heart needs to get back into this sport and deliver a solid result. And nowhere is better, well, this is what the F1 press would like you to believe, than Singapore. Because do you remember once upon a time that Lewis Hamilton had a fantastic pole lap around this racetrack?
Oh, Lord.
Have you seen it advertised anywhere?
Lordy Lord.
Anyway.
It's a good lap.
It
Don't
is
get me wrong.
very
There's just
good
so
here.
many others.
There are. Yeah, he is very good at Singapore, and that lap was very, very, very good. But he needs just a very solid performance. I think he needs to get himself back into Q3, should the car obviously be good enough, and I expect that to be judged against Russell. And I think he needs to comfortably be fighting top 5 for the entire race and not have to worry about getting through some traffic or starting 13th, because he's had 2 in a row where he's been that far down. He needs a solid weekend just to pick up the momentum he had in the first half of the season.
And leave his tyres alone.
That is how he gets the magic out of them.
It's just, he's mean to them.
Literally, he treats them mean and they keep him keen.
Supplementary stat for you here, Sam.
Oh,
No podium for Hamilton in the last 4 races. First time that's happened this year.
supplementary stack, man. Take
Good.
it with a meal.
Well, we picked all the good ones, so I presume we're going to get some different answers here from our Discord submissions. If you'd like to be considered for this segment, just get in the Discord. The link is in the description, of course. Make sure you join. There's a submission channel. We usually shout these out Monday evening, and then we play some of them. We can't get through all of them, I'm afraid, because there's too many, but we'll get through as many as we can.
Thanks. I was going to say, we normally shout it out Monday evening, but I forgot to do it, so Ben did it yesterday.
Hold on, Ben.
Just Ben.
No, I did it Monday.
Oh, it says yes. Oh, no.
Oh, it's updated.
changed.
That is mugged you off.
Discord is at, we're quitting it. We're not doing it. Sorry, everyone. No, sorry.
No.
First up, all 11, count them, 11 kilobytes of Skylar.
AlphaTauri.
Yeah, fair. Great point.
Good reasoning, that, actually.
Yeah, I loved
Yeah,
it. You really
yeah.
delivered the point.
Thank you, Skylar. Right, next up, we have a first-timey,
First timey.
Come on.
Liam.
Hey, late breaking. First time submission here.
Late bacon.
My under pressure is Lance Stroll because Mike Crackers said it's bad luck. So if Lance's engine doesn't go pop, he should be all right. Cheers, lads.
I'm a big fan of your accent there, Liam.
Liam's a Cornish lad.
Love that from you, my boy.
That's Bristol, that.
Yeah, he's from Somerset.
I thought he went to our college.
What, Liam?
What? Someone in the Discord went to the same college as we did about a year after we left.
Good Lord.
Love that.
That is concerning. Right, next up is Charlie.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Charlie, and I'm submitting from 104 degree Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius,
That's hot.
Scottsdale, Arizona. And it is hot, just like Lance Stroll's seat right now. I think he's under pressure. Lawrence can say whatever he wants, but I think one more crash in an Alonso podium or something similar, and you just gotta axe him. Love the pod, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you, Charlie.
Cheers, Charlie. Why is she called Berated Beef?
I actually don't know.
I'm lost. Anyway,
Maybe we'll find out.
Berated Beef is here with her submission beef Singapore noodles.
Hello. If you can hear my lisp, mind your own business. I'm wearing my retainer. Beef went on holiday, went to Tenerife, had a lovely time, got a cracking tan. I was annoyed as well because I thought Singapore was at like 6 o'clock. It's not. It's at 1 o'clock like all the other races. Under pressure. Alpine, get a result. You know, don't be so pants. Okay, bye.
Panks is a great line. We don't use that enough.
Yeah. I mean, they got a podium 2 races ago.
No, not good enough.
Okay, doesn't count.
Ben,
Didn't
you
last
doing
time.
much this race
Yeah,
for
what's
him?
on the agenda, CEO?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. I've got both of the drivers together, and indeed all 4 members of the team, and we're going to put together a good effort this week.
Are you on the front tyre for pit stops this race?
Both front tyres. We've got the FF2. We don't have a front jack either, so we're hoping that they can pull off a no. We're hoping for rain, so they don't have to do a mandatory pit stop. But we'll see.
That's why they put Ocon on their full wets in there.
Just so he doesn't have to stop.
Yeah, don't make him come back in again. Okay, next up is All Good Always, who I believe is actually going to the GP in Singapore.
Incredible.
Highlight breaking. Oh my gosh, it is finally the Singapore Grand Prix. I'm so excited. I am going to be there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. So super excited. Can't wait. We'll update you guys in my post-race submission. Under pressure. Gotta be Alpine. I mean, I kind of forgot about them after Gasly's podium 2 races ago. So hopefully they will at least be in the top 10 for both of them this weekend. Love you guys. Love the podcast. Bye.
See, unlike Beef, actually gave reasoning behind with the podium. Which is great.
We rarely
Don't be
give
pants.
reasoning.
Don't be
pants.
Motto.
Next up, the one car guy.
Hey, what up, guys? It's the one car guy here. It's 3rd time submitter, but 1st time in my new house.
Woo!
There they go. But the person that is most under pressure is Lancia Strollius, because he needs to do something and not be in the back while Fernando Alonso's in the front, you know. He's in the back going, do happy and have a fun time. No, Lance Stroll, you gotta be fast. All right. Love you guys. See ya.
Stroll. Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Oh, man. Oh, my sweet lord.
Congrats on the house.
Okay. Save Leclerc is next.
Hello, everyone. I am here to save Charles Leclerc from Ferrari prison with my under pressure submission for this week. I think there's actually 2 people who are under pressure this week. Number 1 is anyone who's not driving a Red Bull. I feel like having the Ferraris fight up at the front last week was so much fun, and everyone wants another good race with a fight out in front. Number 2 is anyone that is within a 50-mile radius of either of the AlphaTauri seats. I feel like that fight is really heating up, and everyone needs to perform in order to prove that they should be at the team next year. Love the podcast. Bye.
It's like a giant magnet, the AlphaTauri seat. If you get within 50 kilometres of it, you might get sucked into the seat if you happen to be wearing enough metal.
Yeah, I think so.
Give All Good Always a shout. Might, get close enough.
Get yourself in there, girl. Make us proud.
Finally, is another first-time submission from
a
great name. And the profile picture's amazing too. It's Christian Horner pulling a face. But this is Catnips.
Hey, late breaking fam. First time submission, but under pressure this week, I think, is Checo Perez. Going back to a street circuit. Got to see the king of the streets do good. Love to see him back in the front before the end of the season. Plus, would love to see him do good after Helmut Marko's rude/racist remarks. So show him who's boss, Checo. Stay breaking late.
I was going to sing the song, but that felt like it was being insensitive.
I enjoy the mix on Ben's catchphrase. Stay breaking late.
Oh, yes.
Not keep breaking late.
Yeah, that's the second part that I never get to. Every time Harry cuts it off too early, I don't get that bit in there.
Over 300 episodes, Ben's actually always said stay breaking late afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
We've never heard it.